For centuries, the land of Antreya has been mystical, filled with the magic of deities. Magic, known as Oprinum, was granted by the deities, or gods, and was part of the everyday life. Although each person differed in type and strength, few were actually strongly favored by the deities, and the few who formed the upper echelons of society held most of the opera power. Throughout the ages, those who were capable of harnessing their magic worked for the better good of the populace, and the 9 strongest were known as the Saints or the Great Nine. As time went on, various organizations began to spring up, each having a specific god as the focus. The 9 largest of these organizations were led by one of the Saints, each leading those devoted towards the different deity of the 9 created, and many viewed these 9 organizations as the strongest. The Saints were necessary leaders of these groups, because they were able to maintain peace, even when conflict arose. Although no one knew where the Saints came from, it was rumored that the gods have grown restless. The counter-rumor is that corruption in Antreya had forced the gods to take action. Either way, the people of the land were thankful a group has been maintaining peace. Unfortunately, the harmony did not last long. Disturbing reports of horrible events happening throughout Antreya started to come in, and at an alarming rate. News of trade caravans and travelers going missing without a trace. The caravan's personal belongings still remained at the scene, but no bodies or tracks were ever found to follow. Not long after, the first sightings were reported from a handful of survivors from a small fishing village near Lake Nuaga. The stories included tales of an unknown creature appearing in ethereal form and attacking the village, leaving few survivors. As the days continued, more and more sightings were reported of creatures unlike any had ever seen before. The people quickly deemed the vicious creatures as spirit beasts. Spirit beasts had all sorts of forms and sizes. They ran amok all over Antreya, and it quickly became apparent that these beasts could not be stopped. Entire villages began disappearing overnight, leaving no survivors behind. Armor and weapons proved to be ineffective. Even the most powerful Oprinum seemed to leave the beasts unscathed. Many years of these horrors went by, and the situation grew dire enough for the indigenous people of Antreya to be forced into hiding, which began the days of the struggle. The fight for survival became a daily effort. Meanwhile, the Saints had formed together and began putting their powers to the test. After years of research and practice, they found the answer. They were hoping their efforts would save the remaining people. Using their powers together, the Oprinum that will save Antreya was created. But this new ability came at a great cost. The Saints were never seen afterwards, and other mages who were part of the Great Nine lost all their powers. Without the help of the Saints, Antreya faced a new challenge. Civilization must be restored. The truth of where these spirit beasts came from must be found, and the organizations, now broken down to 3 groups called factions, must be formed together under a similar goal to restore life and order. As the Antreyans began their tough journey of restoration, the people remained timid and defensive. Due to the nature of the attacks over the past few years, many people believed that only one faction had the correct ideas and showed hostility towards other factions. Others believed that the unity must be formed in order for the land to return to how it once was. The mixed beliefs caused many disputes, but eventually the factions created, or claimed, cities which would favor them, as well as other cities who will despise them. After months of building, gathering, discussing, and fighting, each faction had claimed locations that best suit them, built training fields, developed combat styles, and had created a permanent separation of the people. Now interactions with each other can range from friendly to deadly hostile, with very little notice. Moving forward to today's age in Antreya, it's time for adventurers and truth seekers to step up, get out, and find answers. Collaboration with other factions is key, and the fear of finding information you don't want to know must be wiped away. It's time for the training they were raised with to be put to good use. Whether they chose to do this with the group or completely alone is up to them, but the time for action is now.